All right. It is 6 p.m. We are live, and we're going to start our monthly roundup for the month of December.
Woo!
So, hello. Yeah. So, this has been a gigantic month, I think. I think we all kind of agree about how momentous this was in a lot of ways for the company, because damn, did we do a lot of stuff. We had the advent calendar, we had models releasing, we had a new version of the game. It's been really big. So thank you all for joining us, because we've got a lot to talk about over the next hour and a half, or possibly 2 hours. Last time it was more like two. So we shall see how this goes. Echo.
Pretty
Yeah,
good.
there's a bit of echo.
Mm,
Just a tiny bit.
Right. Rex, I'm lowering your volume.
that is fair.
So
Banished.
let's go to 20% there. Is there still an echo that is
Let's
detectable?
see. How is it?
Well, I can hear you pretty well.
Okay.
So
I don't hear myself.
okay. Okay. Well, then I think we are good. So all right. Well, we are up to 8 viewers very quickly, and that's really nice. The last couple of these have gone really well, I think. So we're very excited to do this one as well. So to start us off, talking about all the stuff that happened this month, let's go to Zach down in the bottom left-hand corner there.
Oh boy, yeah. Well, um, some of you probably noticed it because we were bombarding your announcement tab, but we had a bit of an advent calendar going on this month where we've been kind of filling out the various corners of the world with a lot of lore that we'd probably never get to in a normal circumstance anyway. So far, we've been mostly doing massive multi-page primers discussing the main factions. So this was a really cool opportunity for us to cover smaller, more niche topics that make the world just more interesting. And it seems like most of you seem to enjoy that as well because we had very good viewership on most of our articles. Even on, we had people yes, diesel cola moment indeed. I'm still curious to see how that would taste one day.
Everybody loves the
Um,
fictional soft drinks.
mm-hmm. But we had, a very big turnout for our articles. Even on Christmas, we had a good, 20 to 30 of you, tuning in to read our truce article when you had other things going on.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what we're all here to do, is to create cookbooks for you. Um, yeah, a field ration recipe book. How much do you like spätzle? Because that's all that would be.
There's plenty of snails in the trenches for escargot.
Sorry, Zach. Didn't mean to interrupt you there. Chat's just being funny.
No, 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 it's fine.
Oh, he disappeared. Well,
Sure, I'll
that
be
was
back.
that was unexpected. Zach will return,
As he did.
as he did.
Somehow Zach returned.
Some uh, it's a better return story than Star Wars. Um, Snails cut for a second. But yeah, so we all worked on the advent calendar in different ways. Sullivan, Zach, and I wrote some, and then Rex and I took all of the pictures for that, and that was a really fun experience. So Rex, what was your favorite picture?
I really like the one that's my background right now. Well, that didn't clear it at all. I enjoyed the tank rolling up in between the buildings with the fog machine going and the good lighting.
We did bring out a fog machine.
We sure did, and
We used the heck out of that.
I think it's used in about half of every picture that we had. For those of you that did not participate in the Advent calendar, first of all, you can go and look at all of the pictures on our Instagram account and also on Discord, where I hammered you with like 3 announcements every single day for 25 days in a row. So that was very fun.
You know you love it.
I hope so. So let me go and that one was early on, so I'm going to find that picture. In relation to that, Sullivan, what was your favorite article that you wrote?
Oh,
and why was it Haiti?
Haiti was definitely one of my favorites, but I actually think that I enjoyed the Aether Elevator article more than Haiti. Just because I kind of had like some, like a bit of inspiration while writing it, and it was very fun to research. But I did love the Haiti article. It was really good. I also liked the engagement with the Haiti article, so they deserved it. They deserve some love.
They do. Yeah, Haiti has had a rough go of things. So, Zach, what about you?
So I'd say the easy answer for me would be Perry's Holdout, just because Perry-san needs all the attention he can get.
I love Perry-san.
The man does not get old. No coincidence in the popularity of a man named Matthew Perry at this time. He's certainly the less popular of the two. Rest in peace, Matthew Perry. But I'd say I also really enjoyed Walker's Coup, just because it's a really weird chapter in American history that is super not talked about. How we had certain Southern gentlemen just going down into Central and South America and, without the better word, stirring the pot, sometimes more directly than others. So, yeah.
Yeah, but as we all know, the United States would never do anything politically questionable in Central America. So, I'm glad that you're out here exploring that idea in fiction, since it's never actually happened. So, fictional escapism, yeah, absolutely. So, I think my favorite of the articles that I wrote, it probably was the one that we published on Christmas, which is a bit of a cop-out since it is the last one that I wrote, and so obviously your newest work is the best. But I enjoyed being able to start dipping our toes into what this war that the entire setting is centered around is actually like. Talking about mobilization and troop movements and stuff like that. It was fun. Of course, most of the writing that I did to figure that out is not present in the article. So, as y'all get to learn about that later. But
one day. It's coming eventually.
It was a fun article, and you should all go read it. Lost media, yeah. But yes, it also took a really brutal turn right at the end that I thought was funny. and sad.
Look how you massacred my boys.
I don't know what you mean. The Catalans are fine.
Yeah, they're having a great time.
They always have a great time. I don't know what you mean. The Catalans have never had to struggle ever.
And now they get to go and see
Look.
the Pacific Ocean.
Celebrating Christmas was very anti-revolutionary of them.
Celebrating Christmas with the enemy.
It's true.
But yes, so that was the Advent calendar. I don't know if we're going to do this again next year, but it was a lot of fun. So maybe.
I'll start writing my articles now
Now.
for next year's Advent.
Things against the spirit.
We'll get to see how things are when we end up there. That being said, next year, if we do this again, we can actually have models for every faction in the pictures for those factions.
That would be really nice.
So it's not like, here's an article about Japan, and also here's an American tank, because I don't have any Japanese models made.
The Russo-Japanese war, except no Russo and no Japanese.
Yeah. So,
They're
yeah,
coming.
only tank. So that'll be fun. So the other thing that happened this month, obviously, is 25 days of new models. Ooh boy,
Oof.
that would be.
Oof.
Here is the arm of one of the models. Here is the leg.
I was going to say, like, you make a whole unit of
Here's
infantry.
the right
That's just like
sponsor.
one unit, like one infantryman at a time.
The first day of Advent, you get his head. On the last day of Advent, you get his body.
New Year's, you get the posing.
So infantry kits have on average like 60 parts. I think 20 is the minimum. But usually it's like 60, so it would have to be like 3 pieces a day.
Wow, they're getting steel.
I know, yeah. Torso festival. So, all that to say, no, I will not be releasing 25 models over 25 days. That would be hell, and I'd rather not do it.
It'd be sick as hell.
Now, what I did do this month is we got 3 new models, kind of. Also, kind of 4 new models, but let's shift over to the image tab, and we can look at that. So the first new model set that came out this month was these, which are the Knecht battle suits for the Holy Roman Empire. And they have been on my mind and on our minds for over a year now. So when we first started designing the Holy Roman Empire as a faction, one of the thoughts we had is that we needed to have these battle suits, right? We needed these big suits of powered armor that are, super elaborate, super decorative, really lean into that sort of gothic and medieval vibe that the HRE has. And these are them. So I started designing them immediately and didn't like it. And then 3 months later, I came back and tried again, and I didn't like it that time either. And then about, 8 months passed from there, maybe about a year, and now I have made these, and I'm very pleased with them. They come in this loadout with the shield and the mace, and this loadout with heavy machine guns, and actually they've got about 4 weapons. They've got a anti-tank rifle. They've got these heavy machine guns. They've got an energy cannon. And an automatic grenade launcher. Now, the 3 of those were taken from the HRE heavy weapons set, which is also very, very fun. And it is so cool to see them lugging around a water jacketed machine gun like it's an assault rifle. And the toes, yeah, everybody loves the toes, or they hate the toes. My favorite comment that I received regarding this set online. No, that's a spoiler. Was that someone said the upper half is awesome, the bottom half does not spark joy.
Feet
So
are very polarizing on the internet.
they
This is a
are. The
known
feet are
fact.
polarizing. Yeah.
You did let the dogs out with this one.
So, Chad is asking, will we get rules for the power toes as a weapon? Actually, yes, and they are already in the rules. So, if you want to play with the battle suits in your HRE army, yeah, they absolutely will mess people up with their toesies.
I'm pulling one of them up.
So,
The
they
last
are
hug you ever received.
the last hug. Yeah. You ever seen what a cat does when it just like
Making biscuits.
grabs something and kicks it a whole bunch? My cat does this to me constantly, which I have been reliably informed means she loves me. That's when those do that to someone, they have a really, really bad time. So
That's the thing,
What are
for
these?
cats, it's making biscuits. This is pulled pork.
So these battle suits though are really fun, and I'm really happy with them, and probably gonna print a bunch. Especially because I think they really suit that vibe the HRE has. They're very knightly, and in lore, I wrote an article about this as part of our Advent calendar. Read our articles on the Advent calendar. These suits are like custom made for their pilots, and they're absurdly expensive, which means the only people who can afford them are hereditary nobility in the Empire, or perhaps not hereditary. You can purchase an imperial title if you're wealthy enough. So that is, I think, makes them very, very interesting. It also means that in the future, when we make characters for the HRE, they get to have custom suits of armor that are different from these. So now the second model this month, I think if we go directly in order, it is this one, which, as you can tell, is far more impressive than the battle suits. This took, years of time and a mountain of effort, and I have dreams about my masterpiece that is this snowman.
I mean, where you live, the likelihood of getting enough snow to even make that is such a challenge.
We
You
can
didn't
make
have
it
to
on
fire
that
a shot
scale.
at me like that.
If we make it to that scale, we could definitely do it. The light dusting.
Yeah, maybe. It snowed in Tennessee when I was younger. I remember it happening. This is the ultimate shield generator. Yes. So the snowman is, I think, very cute. He represents the Christmas truce of 1938, which is another article from the Advent calendar. And also, there is a version of him that is in those files and is pre-supported, which has a loop right here, so you can hang him on your tree as a ornament, which I meant to do and did not get pictures of, because Christmas has been very hectic. So,
Speaking real quick on the holiday tie-in models, I should mention to those of you who joined more recently in the fan base, a certain article was released on Christmas Eve about a very wizened old general by the name of Nicholas Winters. Did you know that he already exists and is in the game? You should go look for that deep in the archives.
also, buy war bonds.
Buy war bonds, kids.
He does. He has a model. His model was released in the first month that GDG was operational as for a Patreon, and that was really a fun model. I was like rushing to complete him and have him painted by Christmas, and I took a picture at my wife's aunt's house in front of their gigantic Christmas tree. It was all quite funny. Speaking of rules, is there a good place to find them all centrally? Absolutely. Every rule that we've put out is available on our Google Drive, which you can access through our link tree,
There's a
where it
link to
says,
it. You don't
and
have-
there's a direct link to it. So the link
Yep.
tree has a link that says March of Rules. Go there, and you will get the rule book and the mission pack and the faction rules and instructions on how to download the stat blocks and a lovely reference sheet that Rex designed for us.
But Jackson, how much could all this cost? All this stuff.
I know it's a lot, isn't it? And that's a lot of rules available that we could charge you $60 for, like a certain hammer looming above us. But it's all free. It's going to stay free forever because rules shouldn't be free.
They shouldn't be
sorry,
free?
they should. Rules
They
should be
should
free.
Rules should
Rules-
be free.
Rules
should be able-
free.
To take some rocks out of your backyard or your gravel driveway and play our game using the rules.
Absolutely, like that one
And-
famous picture of people playing Warhammer in like Afghanistan, where they're moving pebbles around. That's, if you want to play our game, you can play it. You don't need any models. But if you do want some models, I know a reliable place to get them.
Playing the game is encouragement to buy our models.
Mhm.
You should want to buy the models after playing the game, and realizing how good it is.
Especially because of how overpowered the other model for this month is.
Oh yeah.
Shameless plug.
Speaking of the other model this month, how do y'all like pancakes with Gatling guns? Behold, the M82A1 Mukwa. This is a transport version of the Kodiak Super Heavy Tank, which all of you on the Discord have been. What word should I use? Is it It was literal harassment.
harassing.
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
For months and months and months. Every time I would say I'm going to sculpt a new model, which I do every month, someone would ask me, is it going to be the Transport Kodiak? And I said no every time. Even I had some people send me messages in my DMs saying, be real with me. Are you going to sculpt it? And I said, no, I'm not. I'd like to, but I'm not going to anytime soon. And then, I gotcha! I pulled one over on you because I released it on Christmas Day, you maniacs.
It's so good looking.
It is.
Look at this
Kodiak jump
sponsons.
scare.
It has 4 sponsons.
It has 4 sponsons and
4
5
dual
additional
sponsons.
turrets.
They bumped the
And
rules,
2
too.
gigantic, Vulcan cannons. It's nonsensical. But the big turret is not a sponson. It's not. I prescribe to the explicit definition of a sponson, and a turret does not count. No, it
It's
doesn't.
just
Vertical sponson.
Stop bullying me.
Vertical sponsons. Why
The
not?
Jack spawned. We can't stop.
Jack Spawn.
No, you weren't supposed to say this out loud.
This was a private meme in her private
This was a
chat.
private meme. You've breached the contract.
Stop.
We're revoking all your holdings. We'll be contacting your lawyers very soon.
Yeah.
It was a breach of
Severance is a single transport Kodiak.
Wait a minute. Who says we have the money to pay severance?
The Severance is a
Christmas.
Transport
Oh,
Kodiak.
no.
It's technically free.
Anyway, so the Mukwa is live and finishes off my tendency of naming super heavy tank stuff using Native American stuff. And is I think it's a pretty good model, even though I didn't want to sculpt it. But Part of that was also that I didn't want to sculpt it because I didn't think it would look good. So when I figured out a way I thought would look good, I decided to sculpt it. Um, so that's kind of how that went. Uh, thank you for saying it is beautiful. So, what else happened this month in terms of models? Right, one more thing, which we're going to shift over to here. Behold, the French sappers.
Oh
So
yeah.
these were
Oh,
intended to come out last month, and instead they're coming out this month, and they're coming out within the next. It is the 29th, so they're coming out in the next 2 days.
oh, they're
I
so good
am
looking. Oh my
finishing.
god.
I'm finishing up sculpting or posing for them right now. All the sculpting is done, and I'm very pleased with them. I think they're very fun. Shotgun moment indeed. Um, so these have, you may notice, that is a double-barreled revolving shotgun. And the purpose for that is these are Frenchmen. They're fighting the Imperials, and what do all the Imperials have with them? That's right, shield generators, and shield generators are unfair, or so the French claim. So they found out a way to get around them, and that way is to fire two slugs at you from about 5 feet away. But if you do that with a double barreled shotgun, you only get to do it once. So they made a revolver, and now you get to do it 3 times before you've got to reload. Is this practical? Probably not. Would it hurt to fire it? Absolutely. Is it badass? You betcha it is. So,
Sawed off is the weapon of the proletariat.
sawed off is the weapon of the proletariat. Yeah, even those odds against those treacherous imperial bastards. If you are an Imperial, here is a good tip. Don't get close to them. Your guns have really long range. Don't let them get close to you. So, so um, for those of you who haven't looked at the rule, the HRE have really good armor, but they're kind of slow, and they have really long range guns. Whereas the French have shit armor and really short range, but they are fast. So their whole strategy is to get up in your face and shoot you in the head. So which is nice. I hear that's a very pleasant thing this time of year. So um, anyway, let's let's move on to our next segment here, which is talking about the game itself, which I've kind of led into. So, Rex, you've been leading efforts on that front, I think, and you've done a awesome job at it so far. So,
Appreciate it. Yeah, we've done a ton of test games this past month and a half, and every time we did a test game, I think we probably had 500 words or more of changes and fixes to the rules to update. Um, this newest drop of the rule book is probably our most fleshed out and balanced so far. We Jackson and a few others created a kind of an Excel document to help calculate points and get things a little bit more balanced than they were. A little bit less of we think this tank should be 500 points and more of breaking it down. So things have been feeling more balanced. Some of the changes from the previous editions, the capture action has been updated. It's in the rule books now, but it's a little bit more granular. There's less of two people standing in the point and snatching it back and forth from each other the whole time. The more wounds you have on a point makes it so that they can't just snatch it away from you. We have rules and models for deployable fortifications now, which I guess that's a model we might not have shown. I know that kind of came in at the start of the month too, so I don't know if we showed it off on the last stream.
I think we did, yeah.
Did we?
I sculpted some barbed wire and some sandbags. Oh, actually,
You have more of them?
it's not here. No,
Oh
I
no,
took
they're
it.
here.
I took it to your house, right?
They're somewhere behind me, but we have stats for those. The support engineer units can deploy them. Um, there's other ways to get them on the battlefield, which I'll talk about in a moment. But they've been really fun and a unique part of the gameplay. I know the Americans and the HRE both have updated rules on their faction abilities. Um, with the Americans, less it changed a little bit, but not drastically, and the HRE is still kind of up in the air on if that's going to be its final form. But they both have updated rules on how they function. We also finally have Battlescribe has all of the points for the Americans and for the HRE, so you can build lists and test them out very much more easily. So that's kind of
Battlescribe, the Americans have 11 more units that have to be added because I spent 2 years sculpting shit for them, and there's way too much of it.
yeah. But
We'll get it
there's
done.
majority of the stuff is in there, the things we want to play with. Um, in addition to the core rules and having access to Battlescribe now, we also have a mission pack released. This is kind of the way to play once you've kind of played like a test game of Marcher just to know how the models work. But after that, we have a mission pack with 5 core missions in it, which give you your deployment zones and where your objective markers are placed. There's one where the objective markers are placed as you go, so that can change up kind of your gameplay. In addition, there are something we introduced called battlefield conditions. So you could be playing a game where you're in the middle of a blizzard or smog is rolling in, or you were given bad intelligence by your commanding officers and the objectives are not where you thought they were at the start of the game. So that's a really fun way the game is a little bit more dynamic and can be different every single time you play. In addition to that, we now also have these things called emergent orders, which from turn 2 onwards are like additional missions you can try and accomplish to score victory points. So the whole game isn't just can I kill this person off the board? It might be can I get to this area of the board? Can I get to a certain point? Can I get back to my own deployment zone? So a lot of dynamic gameplay within there now. Sullivan, you want to add anything about the games? I know me and you did
Yeah,
play
I
test
mean
games together.
we play tested the crap out of it. The game's in a pretty good state right now. I mean, we're definitely going to be doing a lot more rule tweaks as we kind of continue the playtesting process and trying to fix balance. I know we were thinking about adding in like maybe like some reactive actions or something like that. There's definitely going to be like a couple of game patches in the future. So this is by no means the final state of the game, but this is definitely like the most playable state and the most fair state the game has been in since we've been working on the development. Um, I can say from all of the playtesting I've done, this game's really fun. I mean, Rex and I have had a blast. I played a game with
I've really
Euster as
enjoyed it.
well.
Oh yeah.
The terrain is a really neat feature. Um, it's just really cool to like get out there and fight with the tanks. There are definitely there's definitely some units that are better than others, but overall, I think that the game's in a pretty good state.
The Zeppelin is entirely balanced. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh god, the
We haven't played
Zeppelin!
against it since we balanced it, so I have high hopes for it.
Oh god, the Zeppelin!
I mean, okay, so I'll let the people know. Before we balanced it, I went first. I moved my drop troopers. I scored an objective. I jumped behind a piece of terrain. I was like, I got this. I'm gonna kick ass. And then the Zeppelin blew up half my army, and it wasn't great. So we changed some. That's another thing we changed. Some of terrain rules. If something is a piece of terrain is 5 inches or higher, consider it goes to the ceiling of your room that you're playing in and cannot be seen over. The Zeppelin
Yeah,
can see too many things.
The Zeppelin can see all.
Yeah.
yeah. Just assume that the Zeppelin is not as tall as it seems. It has to fly low so it can shoot at you.
But
It is a. I'm really looking forward to the Zeppelin being used more because, as far as I know, there's there's literally one in existence, maybe two, but I've never seen pictures of it printed anywhere but from us. So, um, but it's such a cool model.
well, maybe once we start filming our gameplay and tutorial videos very soon, that'll encourage someone to make one because that'll definitely need to be showcased in a game.
Yeah, yeah. We should. I think we should just print two more of them because it would be very funny.
We can play the double Zeppelin list.
The double Zeppelin list would be fun, and also absurd. So, so in case y'all have not seen, we are running a giveaway right now. So if you would like to enter the giveaway, type in the chat hashtag STL giveaway, and yeah, then you have a chance to win $25 of in-store credit, which is pretty fun.
Zeppelin list.
So we're going to do the drawing for that. I'm going to just go ahead and announce it again. We're going to do the drawing for that in about 5 minutes, say. In the meantime, I'm going to talk about what's going on next month. And then Zach is also going to get to talk about what's going on next month, which is pretty exciting, I think. He's been waiting for January for a while now. So, next month, the first fun thing that I get to show off here is this, which is an image of a model that y'all have seen parts of, but haven't seen released yet. And the reason that it is being released is because we are doing a crossover. So these are the United States Combat Engineers. They're very useful for in playing Marcher. They're part of our dynamic terrain placement system. So they can run forward and throw down barbed wire and sandbags. And they've also got Bangalores, which are very funny and fun because they delete terrain if you get close. And they are not part of our Patreon release next month. Which is not something I've never done this with a model before, but the way to get these, if you want them when they release immediately, is to subscribe to the Makers Cult, because we are a featured modeler on their Patreon. So I'm very excited about these. I'm very excited about the crossover. I'm also excited to maybe get some more eyes on stuff, and these are going to come packaged with their rules in the game and all that. So hopefully that will be very nice. So that will be that'll be great. Also, combat engineers are cool and they come with grease guns. So the other thing is that we've got more French models coming out next month. They're going to get their heavy weapons, and I'm not entirely sure. Other than that, the French schedule has kind of gotten mixed up. I was intending on doing their partisans, but with the other thing happening next month, I don't know that I will have time. So I'm thinking right now probably a light tank or perhaps a tankette. Everybody loves tankettes. They're adorable little things. So,
how many models currently exist for the French?
I do
Roughly.
not know. 6, maybe? Perhaps more than that, surely. Oh, yeah, including the Sapper 6. So,
Nice.
Question from Chad: if I'm going for a rounded look for my armor pool, who would be a better fit, the U.S. tanks or the French tanks? Well, the French tanks are certainly round.
They are very round.
Yeah, the R1B Liberté, which is their medium tank, is it's got a cast hull and is it is generally duck-like in proportion, so it's a pretty good pick if you want rounded stuff. The American tanks tend to have cast turrets and welded hulls. Although some of them have cast hulls, like the Grizzly, and the well, actually no. Looking now, they all have cast hulls. So if you want more variety, I would go with the Americans because they just have more. The French have one tank, and they're probably getting another one next month. But the Americans have like 7 or 8 tanks now. is just an absurd number. So the model from my cat has commented in the chat. I see. The the model, the U.S. combat engineers will be available in the tribes. Well, in the Patreon release and in February, and the tribes release in March. So,
Oh, by the way, here's the Maker's Cult link.
yes, they are huge.
Gotta bump up our friends.
And they have they've been in the game a long time, and they've got some wonderful models. They release a ton every month. They're awesome. So I'm really excited to be doing stuff with them. So for the other stuff coming out next month, I'm going to hand it over to Zach because he is raring to go, I'm sure.
My excitement has been very hard to contain for this. It's time. It's time for my boys. It's time for Japan. Let's go. Round of applause. So,
There we go.
when I
Real
first
Japan
joined this
hours.
team, full disclosure, when I first joined this team, it was entirely so that I could work on Japan. And in my excitement, I got it done way too early. So I've been constantly pestering, maybe we could release it early. Maybe we could perhaps go before the Russians. Well, look where the Russians are in the order now. So it's time. So Japan, this is going to be a weird faction. A lot of people have been kind of trying to figure it out in the background. A lot of theory craft I've seen in the lore discussion and stuff like that. Also, yeah, feel free to hang out in the lore discussion chat. That's my home. That's where I can be most easily reached often. So Japan is going to be weird because instead of having one design philosophy, we're going to have our first seriously split faction in Marcher. Jackson, I'm sure, could get into more details on how that works, but basically, due to things that happened both in real world history and the history of Marcher, the Army and the Navy have very different design philosophies, very different orders of operation, battle tactics, and just overall the style. This is also a great way to help people get comfortable with Japan, regardless of what type of Japanese content they want to see. Do you like heavily armored, almost samurai-esque people, or do you not? If you like the more imperial era style design, you can still get that from half the faction, and still have a perfectly balanced army because of it. But I will let you explain.
To answer that, assuming the Navy is going to be samurai looking and the Army is just going to be more drab and imperial looking. So
You have
yes and no. Drab is not the word, because what the Army or what the Navy is going to look like is what Japan looked like under Meiji. So we're going to go with the really elaborate, your European kind of style uniforms, but with that Japanese flair. But we are going to be incorporating a lot of the later technology, the imperial looking stuff with that. The Navy is also the Army and Navy represent sort of this fundamental divide between essentially conservatism and progressivism in Japanese society, both in Marcher and in real life. Whereas the Navy is embracing technology, the Army wants to keep things, the way it's been, and so they've got more traditional looking stuff. So.
Yes, and that'll be explained more in the lore as well. Basically, what happens is that there's just we took that existing cultural divide and made it incredibly more severe, to the point to where they're almost unrecognizable, with a few exceptions.
So I've pulled up. I've shown off this image a bunch of times, but it's because I haven't actually gone in and posed these guys yet because I'm super busy. Um, so here is what the army infantry is going to look like. You can see what we're talking about in that they're evoking the samurai, but obviously they've got a lot of more modern stuff going on with that.
It's hard to
And then-
mass produce the samurai look.
It is, yes. And so we've gone for a more industrialized look there to fit with the fact that this version of Japan has been at war for a really long time, especially compared to many of the other nations. So they've got armor that's fashioned from mass-produced stamped plates, and like wraps and pretty heavy duty gas masks compared with, say, the Imperials in their jackboots and fluted Gothic armor. This is heavy, but it is a bit more practical, and I'm very excited for them. I think they're going to look fantastic as a faction. So, yeah. So, with that being said, we're also going to go ahead and do our first drawing for the giveaway. So, there we go. Red Cat 1991. I think you've won the past two as well, which is funny. That's the third time.
Rigged.
Rigged. Luck of the draw, I guess. We are going to be. I'm sorry, Zach. Would you like some STLs?
To be fair, I never enter, but yeah.
I never enter either.
The
pool is very small each time.
I wonder why you never enter.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't have access to all of them.
The password to the email address.
Yeah. Literally, like, go in and like fuck with stuff.
So the giveaway is open. So if anybody else wants to enter, we're going to be doing another drawing in just a little bit once we get through our plans for next month. So to finish up the models for next month, we've got the Japanese Empire Army Infantry, and we're also going to be doing their medium tank. So it's the standard start to a faction. It's what you're going to see for most factions. Is that we're gonna try to get these very important units that are the core of the army done right at the start of the line, right when it begins, and then the farther it goes, the more we're going to get into the weird and unique stuff. Which is why things like this boy, is it showing him?
Yep.
Yeah, there he is. Took so long because. Damn it! The camera does not like him.
Hold him in front of your face. There you go.
Yeah, you can see here. You can see the toes. Yeah.
Put them grippers away.
Oh, on the topic of the medium tank, I guess we do need to specify as well. We mentioned the faction divide. There will be some units available for both factions in order to make them both equally playable. Such as, I believe, the medium tank is going to be one example of that.
Yes, but the Navy, I think in the rules, is not going to be able to take as many of them. They're going to have some sort of like logistical restrictions.
Just like in real life.
Yeah,
I mean that's fair. Trying to ship a medium tank on boats. It's
There we
doable,
go.
but it takes up a lot of space.
It's also worth noting that the Navy is not just boats. They are also Aether ships, which, for those of you who've not been reading our lore, are spaceships. But we named it Aether because that's thematic and fun.
I really want people to read my lore.
Yeah, the lore article coming out next month is a big one. So be sure to check that out when it comes out. So, okay. So, Rex, what are you up to next month?
Probably just more testing of the game. We're wanting to test out more potential changes to the capture action, testing out potentially reactive actions in the game, giving you a little bit more play whenever you're targeted by something and you haven't activated yet. More testing with fortifications. I feel like we got some testing in and they were all right, but I feel like maybe a very engineer heavy army would be very fun to play with and see how we could really build those up. So probably just game testing.
A
And
Kodiak and a million engineers.
oh yeah, honestly, Sullivan, I think you should bring that list.
Yeah, I'll build it. I
And,
like the Kodiak.
and I will borrow the Zeppelin. But that is probably my big thing. Just doing more test games with it. I know Euster is going to be doing the what do we call it? Connect.
Yeah.
They're planning to do a very heavy Connect army, so I'm excited to going into that as well.
That's the word that is the turned into the English word for knight, but in German it means more like servant. So, but yeah, that will be very fun. I have not actually play tested the game myself in months, so I should
We'll get you
probably
over here,
do that.
Jackson.
Yeah, because
It's okay, neither have I.
Yeah, get over here and
uh-huh.
get smacked down by my Americans.
Mhm.
Until the French get rules, and then get smacked down by my French.
I also plan to finish painting my part of the army. So.
But we do have big plans for the next year, and some of those are starting in January. The most significant of them, in terms of actually growing things, I think, is that we're going to start trying to film YouTube videos. So you will get more content from us other than these live streams.
I have started writing scripts for those as well.
Yeah. And so that will be an undertaking to try to figure out how to do that, because all of us know that we want them, and taking it from something you want to something that's real is difficult. Yeah. So, yes, I will play Zach on stream eventually. I swear it.
Just don't play the Americans. It's going to be one-sided enough as it is.
What are you talking about? How could I not play the Americans? They're my boys. They're what started this whole mess.
They are.
I actually don't know what army I'm going to play. So we're thinking of possibly trying to run a tournament at some point. And so I have to think about what army I'm actually building for the game. And right now what I've done is I've printed one of every model as it's come out and then painted it and set it on the shelf, which means that I've got a really odd collection of models because you need more than one. So something to think about.
We may also have something in the works for February or March. We're not sure.
Yeah, maybe.
More on that later.
In something that is going to happen, but we're not sure in what capacity yet, we're going to be at Adepticon. So if anybody is coming to Adepticon, That will be that's March, late March, March 20th, I think. I think all of us here but Zach will be there because Zach will be in Japan. And I hear it is difficult to come back from that.
I tell you what, if the community personally raises the money, I will show up to Adepticon.
Community funded
Community
plane
funded.
If
ticket
the
from
community
Japan
funds me to show up, I will show
to
up.
Chicago.
They have flights
Hi.
directly to Japan from Chicago. That's how I
Yeah, I
got
know
there the
they
first
do.
time.
It's
That's how I
possible.
went there the first time.
Go fund me. I
Yeah.
want to go to Adepticon with the company.
Well, maybe in 2024 or 5.
Maybe.
Damn. It's anyway. So Adepticon should be fun. I don't know what capacity we're going to be there. We might just be attending. I'm also looking into maybe having a table or a booth or something, but that's a lot of money. So we'll see whether or not that happens. Also like to run demonstrations, that sort of thing. But who knows? Might be there just to party. So yeah. I don't know. We have anything else to talk about that's happening next month?
More playtesting. Lots more
Yeah.
playtesting.
I'm
Yes.
excited.
I'm excited to work on artillery and make it function.
Yeah,
More.
make them not terrible.
Yeah.
My poor babies. They went from being OP in the original version of the rules to just like getting kneecapped. I've tried so hard.
I'm fine with powering them back up.
We
They
did
need
in
to
fact
study.
nerf them into the ground. So maybe that was a bit extreme. All right. It has not been that long, but we're gonna do our second giveaway now. So let's see who the winner is.
Wait for it. Wait
It
for it.
is Cuddly Calf. Congratulations. It
Woo!
says you're not following us. I don't know
How
why it says it
dare
actually tells me that, but I am personally offended.
Wow, I'm offended. You come in here, you win our STLs, and you don't even follow.
You don't even follow us. What a
my disappointment is immeasurable and my day has been ruined.
indeed.
Hey, there it is. Pops up. Now everyone
Thank
knows
you.
you followed us.
Mhm.
Unbelievable.
So enjoy those. Send me a message after the end of the stream, and I will get you your $25 FinStore credit. For everybody else, we're going to open it back up, and we will draw the last winner right before the end of the stream. So make sure to hit it. I've received a message on Discord saying no. I'll send the message now. This is a violation of our contract. I'm sorry. I've got to cancel it. That is a joke. That is a joke. So. All right. Well, we are now in at the end of our future plans segment. So now it is time to talk about your questions. So this is the section where people can submit questions, and we will begrudgingly answer them, or perhaps happily answer them, depending on how good the question is. So
We like
I
to dance around
suppose-
them like a politician, you know.
I suppose while we let the live questions pour in, I could go ahead and ask our first pre-prepared question.
mhm.
Okay, so our first question comes from Alex and is directed to you, Jackson. Are there any future plans for civilians from different countries or factions, like what is planned for the French partisan fighters? And if possible, would they be modular like the HRE and French infantry are currently?
So the partisans are planned. And the partisans will mostly be wearing civilian clothing. Some of them are going to have kind of like scraped together uniforms, sort of thing. Very very irregular looking in terms of straight up civilians, I would like to do them at some point. I think that would be really interesting, especially to show off, the fashion of the time. Um, I don't know if I want to sculpt 35 modular suits and
Think about how
fedoras.
useful it will be for our side projects.
That's what I was about to get to, which is that we are developing another game on the side set in this universe that rhymes with rocket propelled grenade launcher. And civilian models would be very useful for that. So tentative, yes.
The spinoff of Marcher
Spin-off crawler.
That's the post-war Marcher universe.
Yeah. They're not going to be doing much
Like,
after that. Spoiler: the war does not go well for everyone.
The world suffers.
The world
Some
suffers.
of you may
yes.
die, but that is a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Yeah. The prequel is
Prequels
Walker. The prequel's prequel is also Crawler, interestingly enough. So yeah, civilians maybe in the future, but
I am
not for
realizing
like
our-
the next year.
I am realizing our second question is tangentially related.
Okay.
That would you consider making models of civilians for function in game modes? Imagine how cool it would be to have half-melted plastic women and children running away.
God.
Funny enough, if you go visit our friends at the Maker's Cult, they already kind of did that. And they did, in fact, my favorite of them is what looks like a 6-year-old holding like a las rifle with a gigantic helmet sitting on his head. And I'm just going to pretend like he's holding a Nerf gun, but we all know that's not what's happening.
I imagine it'd make for a fun game mode, trying to rescue civilians from the battlefield.
Yeah.
Future mission pack.
too.
Uh-huh.
The Horrors of War mission pack.
Rescue civilians. Maybe it's not the horrors of war. Maybe it's the uplifting part where you heroically rescue them and get them out of danger.
Well, yeah, if you
that's
win.
They
all
pose
that
for
happens.
propaganda posters with you.
Traumatize your players.
I don't know. Warhammer has tried real hard to traumatize people, and I'm not sure it worked. So maybe we. Oh, damn it! I said the word, didn't I? I'm not supposed to say the hammer word.
Battle Mall. Battle Mall.
Battle Mace 60,000. Yeah.
Battle Mace 60,000.
Battle Sledge. Hell yeah. As long as we're talking about non-military models, have you ever thought about making models for outlaws / space pirates? Space pirates absolutely exist. They exist because they're badass.
Hell yes. So many space pirates.
We do
You
have
mean Aether pirates, though. There are no space
Yes, Aether pirates, yes.
There may
concept...
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
I was going to say, very deep down the development line, there may or may not be a mini faction of spacefarers of a particular political persuasion. One day.
They are absolutely doing some piracy. Because it's funny. It's very funny to imagine that.
Redistribution of wealth.
And they're living on a frozen hellscape of a planet. So, yes. Space pirates, yes. Eventually. That's my question, or my answer to everything. So, almost everything.
Except for Transport Kodiak.
Yeah, except for Transport Kodiak, where the answer was no until it was yes.
Oh, we have a question coming in from Discord.
Oh, I see. Let me go
Figure
over
out
to
what
that.
tab that's on.
Yeah.
Will we see any more cartographers and / any updates to the lore there? I think I
So,
recall that line being scaled down.
yes. We don't know what in the hell to do with them right now because they were sculpted as a request for a certain someone who is not on this live stream.
That monster
I know. How could they prioritize their family over us?
over our live stream. Ridiculous. They're
Yeah.
fired. Fired for Christmas. Half the company fired for Christmas.
Yep.
Just like Magic Hats of the Shoreline.
Mhm. So,
What model was it?
the cartographan privateers.
Hold on, I'll
Oh,
post a
I,
link
I
in
remember
chat for
them.
those.
They have the
that like
dog,
them.
don't they?
They have the dog. Yeah,
They're so cool
I
looking.
love the
Yeah, I
dog.
don't know
The
what to
dog
do with
is
them in
really
the
fun.
lore. There
So
you
to talk about kind of how this all happened, this all being here we're gonna switch over real quick. Here are the cartographan privateers. They're awesome. They've got those like Phrygian style helmets that like dragoons wear with gas masks and epaulets and brocket and engraved breastplates and dumb flintlock looking pistols. They're great. I loved them. Um, Here are some more pictures of them. This is some prime early GDG rendering here. So
the early render before we learned.
yeah, before I figured out how the hell to do it, yeah, I really need to redo this render, especially because these continue selling. But here's a better picture that's of them painted. So they are a weird model set because early in development for Marcher, it wasn't called Marcher, and instead it was called Starbreaker. And Starbreaker was a fantasy world that we were adapting into a science fiction world, and it didn't really contain Earth, and we were bending over backwards to justify how, like, why everything looked so diesel punk.
Mm-hmm.
There were some really cool ideas in there. We had a faction that was actually going to be entirely pacifists, and I thought that was really cool. Instead of they had like tasers and stuff instead of actual guns.
Yeah, we had like
And
fantasy races and stuff. It was interesting.
it was, but eventually, like things weren't really jiving with the models, and so eventually we switched to this alternate history project that we're doing now, which is Marcher, and so the cartographans were like a transport guild similar to what are they called? The ones from Dune, which I think might have been called like the Navigators Guild or something like that. And so they were very, very, very fancy like this because imagine the Orient Express in space. That's kind of what they were. And why do they have guns? Well, there's pirates out there. You need to defend yourself from them. So that's what the cartographans were. But now we are in modern Marcher, and they don't really have a place. So we are kind of spinning that piece around, trying to figure out where it fits in.
I made a suggestion in your private DMs.
You did, yeah. Yeah, the suggestion to make them HRE units is fairly. It's kind of straightforward. I agree. I have no idea what they would be though.
Well,
It
they
could
were
be
already a transport guild. They could be the Ostend.
Yeah, that's kind of. I was kind of leaning there as well. we talked about making them Spanish at one point.
Byzantines?
Oh, I don't know about that one. That's early for you to say that word.
Don't be
What
saying
word?
that word.
What word?
So,
The iceberg
yeah.
widens.
The iceberg does widen. But yeah, the cartographers, they continue to sell pretty well, so people like them. But
Yeah, I don't know what to do with them.
so, but yeah.
Any other questions from anybody? Feel free to ask.
Oh boy.
Give them a second. They're shy.
Mm. We did in fact get less questions this time. So
It is December. People
it
are
is
doing
December,
things.
yeah. When will you make cat?
The war cat,
Indeed.
very important.
When cat.
Wind bear.
See, if I were to sculpt a cat, the divine essence of is it Set? Is it the Egyptian cat goddess?
Bast.
Bast.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bast would possess it and conquer the world. So, you know, I can't do that, unfortunately.
You were the one.
We have more questions coming in on Discord. Any idea on when the American Sappers will get completed?
So, American sappers or American combat engineers are coming out for the Maker's Cult next month. And then on GDG Patreon in February. So the French sappers are coming out this month. They're coming out in the next 2 days because I will it.
Oh yeah,
else?
what is this French super heavy model gonna be?
Is it not the drill?
Is I don't have an answer to this question because we've not planned it yet.
Yeah, we haven't planned it yet.
Just scale
It will-
the
it
drill
will
up
be created.
20% when you
So-
print it.
Yeah, you just print the drill at like 400 scale.
It's either going to be an absurd tank based on the Char 2C. I think
Char.
that's the one
Char.
that is
French pirates.
actually a boat that is LARPing as a tank. Or it'll be a gigantic drill. And it's probably going to be a gigantic drill because those are cool.
Drill.
So
I liked the
we've
drill
once
article,
again
too.
gotten someone suggesting that something has an attached guillotine. Every time.
One of these
It's
days you'll
the
sculpt
new
it.
Kodiak. It's the new transport Kodiak. Okay, so we have chat questions. How
Yes.
weird will Marcher get? Will there be things like aliens, mutants, and space wizards?
Oh,
Aliens, tentatively yes. Mutants, also tentatively yes. Space wizards, no. So there's alien life in Marcher already. In lore, humanity, takes to the stars in 1876, and they discover the Concord system, and there is alien life on that planet. And every new planet that humanity discovers has its own kind of alien life. What they've not discovered yet is intelligent life. However, and this is something we haven't touched on very much in the lore yet, what they have found is evidence for intelligent life that is no longer around. And so this will be revealed in an article later on where we go into what's going on with that. But especially in the in like the late 20s and early 30s, and I suppose in the 1910s, xenoarchaeology is a big deal. There's a lot of that going on. So um, that's going to be a British thing when we get to them. Um, yeah.
Somebody asked about Rasputin. Rasputin is around and plays a major role in the Russian lore.
And is technically a wizard.
Yeah, I guess he is in fact a wizard.
Is he a space wizard?
He's
An
probably
aether
been to
well,
space.
there's no
Yeah.
space.
Right, there's no space. Aether
Aether
wizard.
wizard.
It belongs in a British museum.
The history of the entire galaxy belongs in the British Museum.
So true.
That's what's the
Oh god, an Indiana Jones spoof in lore would be amazing. Ohio Joe.
um I love Indiana Jones.
That's
And
awesome.
I think we definitely will have to do something with that.
Has a cane instead of a whip.
In our eventual tabletop rocket propelled grenade.
Yes. There is a xenoarchaeology skill in the rocket propelled grenade.
Indeed. So, Oklahoma Jack.
Considering that certain islands in Southeast Asia are now American states, you could just call them Philippines.
Uh, thank you, Ruful1, for following.
Follows.
So, since we have people talking, there's a giveaway going on. Enter the giveaway. We're gonna draw at the end of the stream, so make sure to enter. And you'll get $25 of in-store credit for some STLs. So, what is the next thing? In terms of things getting weird, what I'm hoping to do with the models is to kind of slowly dial up the weirdness as we go on. So, like, the Japanese are going to be more weird than the French. The Russians are going to be more weird than the Japanese. The British are... No, the Russians are going to be the strangest, actually. The British are going to be odd, but...
It's going to get weird. A little less weird.
Yeah.
The Japanese in particular have one very weird thing that I have been teasing and am very excited for. The one very weird thing that they have.
What was next here?
Oh yeah, the Russians will not be a human wave faction. They'll actually be a kind of bizarre in what they are.
I think you will be able to do a human wave with the Russians.
Yes.
Because basically what the Russians are going to be like as a faction is they are going to be weighted really weirdly. Which means they're going to have a lot of very cheap units and a lot of very expensive units and nothing in the middle. So that's going to make them odd. But the Russians are going to be worse in terms of human rights than the French. So.
No, the Japanese strange thing does not have tentacles. That they got over that in the late 1800s, fortunately. But it does have other things that I'm excited for that are tangentially related.
What other? The Japanese do have swords. Yes,
they do. But for those of you who love katanas, the handle will leave you slightly disappointed. Sorry, I'm a Japanese historian. Having a proper handle does make it better.
I'm upset.
Somewhere between the gunto and the katana.
I'll never forgive you.
That's okay. I won't
Here, I
forgive
can
myself.
show that off for a moment. Behold, a Japanese sword. I don't know if this is the final version, but it was the last one that I made.
That better
Not-
be Ray skin.
Mm.
That's the thing. As you can see, it still has the proper wrapped handle, but you got a guard. That
Mhm.
revolutionizes everything.
So yes, that's the state of Japanese swords. What else do we have? The Americans in HRE will indeed remain the most normal. Will the Russians have Tesla tanks? Maybe.
They do have one really weird concept. It's not a Tesla tank, but it's that's gonna be whack.
In an entirely unrelated note, in case you missed the beginning of this stream, we have a dynamic weather system. Well, not a dynamic, but there is a weather system. And you should check it out. It's in our mission pack, and you can play during a lightning storm or a blizzard
I
or
like
acid
Blizzard.
rain, and a few others. My
Let's fly
favorite
to
weather
smog.
condition. My favorite weather condition is minefield. I really hate when I wake up in the morning and look at the forecast and it says minefield.
Well, we did.
Gets
did
you
call
every
it-
time.
We did call it battlefield conditions, so that it makes sense.
It's raining metal
What are the
pancakes.
conditions of the battlefield, and perhaps not of the weather?
It's
still
in
think
fact raining mines outside right now.
Damn, I was gonna go to the Food Lion today, but I just looked outside.
It's bouncing outside. You mean pouring?
The
No.
non-southern members of our chat will not know what a food lion is.
I go to the lion, I pay it money, and it gives me food. It's
That is how it works. It's much like the giant tortoise.
So yes, it is battlefield conditions, and I hadn't looked over that document, Rex. I didn't realize you changed the name.
It's no longer
To make it make sense. You know?
It does make a little more sense, yeah.
That's why like bad
This
intel is one of the battlefield conditions. Like
Yeah.
you're given bad
Yeah.
information. So
this industrial pollution's getting
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
It is getting out of control.
that is part of the lore.
Bad things are happening to the environment in this setting.
Yeah, the Earth is not doing so hot.
Yeah. You imagine people in the 1700s got the ability to industrialize?
Where would we be?
They're looking around and just like, yeah, I'm going to destroy everything because it makes me rich. What
What
do you think
ice caps?
the highest tech faction? It's the Russians.
It's the Russians, yeah.
Yeah.
A close second
Which is
for the Brits.
ahistorical, but you know.
Well, so we're not a fan of actual Russia here. Which hot take, I know.
Hot take, not liking Russia. Wow.
And so, given their history with actual technology, I do have there's a little part of me that wants to include rules for the crazy Russian technology that makes it unreliable. But that
man,
might be kicking them while they're down. Just wait until y'all see what their borders look like. Yeah.
They could have been weirder.
What
They could
did
have been weirder,
Youngster
but you
say
wouldn't let me
earlier?
move one piece.
Russian borders have to be squiggly. Is that what
I to talk about our private chat. I posted a GIF of a wrestler beating the hell out of another person with the caption, "Us whenever Russia has a slightly squiffy border."
Mhm.
And Youngster replied, "But all of Russia's borders are squiffy."
Could have made him squiffier.
Yeah.
Could have been squiffier.
Wouldn't let me. I could have pulled the pin.
I don't know what you're talking about, and you're not allowed to do that.
Oh, we didn't announce that. We the map is in the works.
Oh yeah, the map is in the works.
So-
We found
sorry,
the
everyone.
artist.
Works.
Yes, people have been begging for the map forever. We've been delaying the map forever, but the map is in fact in the works.
We have an artist, and I have a behind the scenes that you will never look at draft.
Yes. Yeah, the draft is also Golden Dragon Games Lost Media. There's
Mm.
that will never see the light of day.
Yes.
However,
Um,
the commissioned version will.
Yes, the Brits still hold India. I'm sorry to let you down.
I'm sorry, India, but yes. but does India hold the Brits? That's the real question.
Queen Victoria has actually changed her primary title to Empress of India.
Much
I'm
like
being
Portugal
threatened.
did with Brazil.
Yeah.
Let it be known that I am
They said,
being
"Well, it's way
threatened.
better here."
Mm.
I've been threatened in Discord.
You have. This is what happens when you put your face out on the internet.
I know.
It's over, Zach.
Until someone
Crime
finds
incoming.
We did 3
Wait
of
until
these
someone
live
finds my
streams, and
day
someone
job.
threatened to break into your house. That was really, really fast.
Just wait until they find my day job.
Oh.
Yeah, for real. Don't do too much digging into us.
Please don't. Don't pay $3,000 to fly to Japan. It's not worth it for you or me.
You don't want to see Japan. There's nothing cool there.
Nothing at all.
Dig into your basement.
You know what? Sure, I don't have
Right.
one. I could
Crazy
use
lady on
the
TikTok.
extra space.
An extra 150 square feet in your house. That'll raise its appraisal value by like $400,000.
And on this day, we discovered that Grizzly was French.
Oh no, the Underminer.
I wonder how much a giant jerk costs.
All right. Well,
Is it time for the last draw?
it is time for the last draw. So, if y'all are in the chat, you've got about 30 seconds to enter using this code STL giveaway, which is up. I will look at my wrist and pretend there is a watch there. When the clock strikes 7:30. I'm actually going to give it another 2 minutes, so I'm not going to stare at this hair on my wrist anymore.
Last second questions.
Last second questions, yeah. Pledge allegiance to the-
From that country.
Is that what you tell the police officer when they pull you over?
Oh, sovereign citizen.
Considering painted this very janky printed M40 I have on my desk, should I? Absolutely, you should. You should paint everything.
Worst case, it's terrain, right?
For example, you see a red door, you should paint it black. I'm very funny. Our stream is now going to get struck for copyright on Twitch.
Face reveal.
Face.
Oh, right. Bears.
Is the bear going into the van? What is that?
Is this like animal control?
Yeah, I think it's stealing the animal control van.
What was that guy hoping to achieve? Glory, maybe?
Jesus.
All right, it's 7:30. It's time for our last drawing.
We
And
made it.
Go to Discord if you haven't already, because there's
indeed. Congratulations, you've won $25 of in-store credit. Send me a DM on Discord or send an email to goldendragontabletopgames@gmail.com to claim your STLs. Just let me
I
know
don't
what you
think
want.
NT has won before.
They have not. So congratulations and enjoy.
Bears.
Oh yeah, Conflict 47 had some real wacky stuff going on.
Yo, that's sick.
Yeah, it is. They usually are holding sledgehammers, I think. That's what I remember them doing.
We're not getting that wacky yet.
Yeah,
Gotta
not there are
happen.
people holding sledgehammer. I don't know that it's gonna happen,
It'll happen.
but um, there's definitely gonna be some wacky stuff. But we are keeping it mostly grounded, I think. So long as you can accept the thesis that the steam engine was invented in 1720, I think everything that follows after makes sense.
What about bears in general? I think
You
I
have
don't
the
think
Kodiak.
you do have it. I don't think the Russians. If anybody's going to get a bear, it's probably not going to be the Russians.
The
It's going to
Poles are
have to
going to
be
get a
the
bear.
Poles.
Yeah. Love me, Wojtek. I have a poster of Wojtek and a magnet because I was in Poland recently, and they love him there. I got a picture with a bronze statue. So I will have to go hunt that picture down. But yeah, if that is all, I think we're going to end it here. So in 3 minutes, 7:35, we're going to end the stream. If y'all have any last minute questions, make sure to get them in. If not, then we will see you next month at the end of January to talk about everything going on with the Japanese and the French. And hopefully we will have a video to show you and some cool models.
Hell yeah.
Apart from that, if you decide to play Marcher, which you should because it's a fantastic game and it's very
Yes.
fun and we're not biased at all, then you should let us know and post about it on the Discord, take some pictures.
Ask us questions if something doesn't make sense. If you find a bug in it, let us know. We'd love.
Oh yeah, tell us about the
Mhm.
bugs, especially on Battlescribe, because there's no telling what's going on there.
We've done good picking out problems, but it pops up.
Yeah.
And kind of on that note, if you are near Tennessee in April, you should have a Marcher army made because you might be able to attend a tournament and win a prize.
And if you're not,
Maybe.
make 2 armies so you can force your friends to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, send your Tennessee friends an army in the mail for Aprilmas so they can play in the tournament.
Best way to keep seeing cool models is to, play the game. We got to get down that long list of factions.
Oh, so true.
All right. Well, I think that's all for this time. Oh, nope. Okay. All right. Well, it has been fun, and I will see you all again in a month. Bye-bye.
Peace
Bye bye,
out.
everyone. Good to see you.